It was Texas, it was Tennessee.
What's up, everybody? Tonight on the podcast, we got Mr. Bill Taylor.
Hello,
Thanks for,
hello.
yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. And we got a special guest, Mr. Lance Rodgers.
Good to
He's,
be here.
yeah, man. Um, so I met. We'll go with Lance first. If Lance is going to be on the podcast coming up in April, I believe, unless we work out a time in between then.
Yep.
And also, Lance has got his a podcast of his own called Falling Forward.
Falling
Right?
forward. FOR apostrophe D.
That's
Falling
right.
forward. Yep.
So make sure you and Lance has got his own music and stuff out there too. So looking forward to getting Lance on and to talk about the podcast and his music and everything even more. So appreciate you hopping on since my buddy Talbot wasn't able to. He he's
Yeah,
doing.
man.
Can you believe he's doing family time during the
Man.
holidays? What a loser that guy is. But
Must be a good dude.
yeah, he is. He's a good one. I'll edit that part out though. Um, but Bill, man, thanks for hopping on. And so for those that don't know you, I didn't know you till I met you at North Springs Music Festival, which we can talk about that a little bit and all it coming up. But tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Who the hell is Bill Taylor?
Man, not much of a person. No. My name's Bill Taylor. I started a band about 2.5 years ago called Bill Taylor and Appalachian Heathens. We started it just to, get together and start writing our own stuff versus a lot of bar gigs we used to do where it was just a bunch of cover songs. I got to the point where I just wanted to start creating music that might mean something to somebody, maybe touch somebody in a way if they're going through some shit, because about everything that I write is more of I try to be more on a personal level. Um, but yeah, man, I just like writing folk songs and not much interesting about me, to be honest with you.
Oh, I know that just from your social media that I'm pretty sure you're a Kentucky Wildcats fan also, right?
Oh, to the
That's it.
bone.
That's
Absolutely.
I, I know that's probably a given considering the area that you're in, but still. Um, so without giving like an address or anything, what area of Kentucky are you in?
I live on the very southeast side of Kentucky. You could take a rock and hit Virginia and Tennessee with it from about where I live. I mean, I'm on the very corner of Bell County.
Gotcha.
That gap, Cumberland Gap, right?
Yep, right beside Cumberland Gap.
All right. So what kind of music was growing up in or was going on in the house in Bill Taylor's youth?
Growing up, my dad was a Pentecostal evangelist, and so a lot of custom cassette tapes and CDs was mainly what we listened to for a long time. Just the people from the church singing and what you could find on the radio. A little Third Day. Third Day was a big one in our house. The Isaacs for the bluegrass. A lot of Ralph Stanley. A lot of Ricky Skaggs. But that the only time I could listen to anything out of that genre was if I was sneaking around and trying to find it with my friends or my Uncle David, which was a big influence for me. Me and him would run around listening to like Linkin Park and Metallica and shit like that. But yeah, for the most part, it was Pentecostal homemade music, man. That's I always give that. That's where I learned to sing was in church. And most people that hear me, they'll say, "You like to holler, don't you?" I was like, "Yeah, that's all I'm doing. I enjoy hollering." And that's what you'd find a lot in the churches that I went to. We were loud and, yeah.
Gotcha.
Bill, when was
Yeah.
the first time you picked up a guitar and tried to play it?
Brother, well, first it was a bass. I learned the bass when I was like 9, 10, and I was on it for 4 or 5 years. And my dad's always been a really good guitar picker, and I decided, I guess about 14, I got it and I started strumming. I tell everybody, that's what I was talking to y'all about earlier. I'm not this big picker, fancy anything. I can strum it and put a song out, and that's about as far as I go with it. But I'd rather play a guitar than a bass. It just, I don't know, it's just something about it, the flow that you get with it when you're writing.
Yeah. Yeah, I find that too, especially writing a new melody. Sometimes with a guitar, you can kind of hear words when you're playing it, and it kind of helps when you're writing. So was you always had instruments floating around in your house, like everybody playing together, or when did that kind of start up?
Well, my mom never really played much. She was a tambourine player, and she sung a lot in church. But Dad played guitar. He played bass. Back when we was younger, he would, like I said, with the custom tapes, he would put all that harmonica, banjo, all that into one and do it himself on cassettes. And that's where I just kept my music background from, was more or less him. It's always been around. Cousins, friends and other family would get together and they'd pick on the porch, pick in the living room, sing gospel songs and stuff.
Gotcha. One of the questions I want to make sure I ask is, just from you being at that corner of the world, I know you played the bar gigs and stuff. What are some cover songs that you play in Kentucky compared to? I'm curious, as a bar band guy here, I'm curious the difference between West Tennessee and Kentucky honky tonk.
Well, I'm sure we did a lot of the same. Like I did a lot of Hank, a lot of Waylon, a lot of Merle. Dad liked to cover Merle a lot. We did a lot of Clint Black, stuff like that, Jamie Johnson. But then once I really started getting into it, when I found Tyler Childers and like Sturgill Simpson, that my whole world changed. And that's especially Tyler, man. I a third of the night I'd ask people, well, we got any Tyler fans? And most of the time, they'd holler. I'd be like, well, good, because that's what you're going to hear for about 30 minutes. And Tyler is a big influence. A lot of Sturgill. I do a little Ben Todd now in sets and stuff. A lot of Kentucky people, a lot of Chris Stapleton, stuff like that.
Gotcha. We may end up bouncing back and forth. If we do, that's all right. But when did you decide to start trying to write some songs of your own?
Right. So like I said, I've been doing it, I guess, about 5 years now. And about 2.5 years ago, I wanted to branch off from just doing cover music and actually give it a try to see what a career. It's always been a dream of mine, but I never thought I was good enough. I still don't, but I'm pushing from a lot of friends, a lot of family, just saying, man, you should at least give it a try. Went that route, and about 2.5 years ago, I wrote Strength. That was the first song I'd ever wrote, and that was the first one I ever put out.
How nerve-wracking was that for your first time?
Man, the first time, like in a studio type deal.
Just letting other people hear something you wrote.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
At first it sucked. I was nervous as hell. I didn't know what people were gonna, how they were gonna take it. And sometimes, I threw stuff out that it didn't get it received as good. But luckily, Strength was that's still my most streamed song right now. So it went good, and that relieved me a little bit.
Yeah.
But the good thing about like the cover music that I did before I started writing was it got me really comfortable on the stage. And I don't know. I hope people can see that now, because I used to be shaking like a leaf on a tree when I get up there.
Bill, what's kind of the process you go through when you want to write a new song? Do you have to wait for a moment of inspiration, or can you sit down and you're like, okay, I have a topic I want to cover, or what's your kind of like process of that?
Man, I know that you're an awesome songwriter, so I don't know about how you do it, but for me, I can try and try. I tried it for a long time to go every day to give at least an hour to try and write something for about 4 weeks straight, Lance, and I could not. I'd write stuff down, but it was nothing that really meant something to me. It's nothing that I felt when I was writing, to putting the pen on the paper. And for me, my writing process, anything you hear, it's something that's just like, it just comes to me. a lot of times when I'm driving in a truck, I'll think of a good sentence or two, and right then I'll get my phone and I'll try to sing something to it.
Mm-hmm.
And usually those are what stick, because all of a sudden it meant something. I felt, hair stand up on my skin or whatever you say. But I know a lot of people can just write, but I'm not that person. I'm a little bit slower with it. It's just got to come to me. It's got to be something I feel. A lot of the stuff I wrote lately is just events that have just recently happened that impacted me.
I'm looking forward to hearing those, man. Are a lot of those songs going to be on your next project, whatever that's going to be?
Yeah. So I was talking to you all before we started there, and I had to ask my engineer, and the guy that's helping me with it, though, Mr. Rob from Jam Nation, asked me to be a part of be an artist for him on his label, and I'm going to be starting in January on my first album, and I'll be working with old Zach McCord, I think's his last name.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, ain't it? Yeah, McCord. Brother Zach McCord, man, he's out of West Virginia, and I think we're going to do something that's special. I really do. I've got about 10 songs in the chamber, and I reckon we're wanting to try for 12, so we'll see how that goes. But, dude, I'm excited to get started. 2025 is going to be killer.
It's going to be great, man. Mm-hmm. It's going to be great.
I know this is, I know you've got some stuff already, out there and recorded and everything on wherever you stream your music. Go check that out even before his new stuff comes out. But do you have kind of an idea of how you want it to sound going in, or are you just kind of going to let it kind of flush out in the studio?
Well, we talked about that a little bit, and honestly, man, I really like the folk sound, but I always feel like I'm a mixture of bluegrass and country. And you'll see I've got some songs that are really country sounding. Like you told me I might sing a song. I got my guitar, by the way, over here. It's set. It's in the ready. Really country sounding, and then I've got a few that's just finger picking stories, and then I've got a little bluegrass. So it's just going to be a little mixture in there. People always ask what's your genre, and I always say just Appalachian sound. I don't know how else to explain it. Whatever I feel that day, that's what I like listening to. So that's how I go forth.
Well, I don't think I don't have a lot of experience about that corner of the world's music, but one thing that I know these days with bands like you talked about Sturgill and Tyler and all these folks, they got different sounds, different, even, I mean, not even on the same album, they'll have different sounds, which is, I think kind of knocks down some walls for a lot of people, that you can just make whatever you want to make, and not be worried about trying to be in a, probably, I guess you could play for the song more than play for, whatever gatekeeper you're trying to get through, if that makes sense.
Right. No, it makes sense. Honestly, for me, it's just whatever comes to me, dude. Yeah, one might feel more like bluegrass, one might feel more country, but at the end of the day, I just try to get a message across for the most part. I got the songs that are about, just Appalachian living, of course, but I always try to put a message in my song about something that's happened or maybe a hard topic. There's going to be a lot of that on this one too. If you like sad stuff, you'll probably like it.
With your kind of background in religious music, is there any influence with that's going to come out in the next album? I think about like the Ray Clay Strays. That album was very gospel inspired, and I was just curious if like maybe any of that kind of thing is going to come across in the new one.
Oh yeah, man. Like I said, I always give credit to my singing, the way I sing and style, to the Pentecostal faith. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of hollering, as I always say. But I'm in the process right now of writing my first gospel song, and I'd like to be able to get that on there too.
Very cool.
Yeah. We do have this thing live on YouTube and everything right now, and usually have most of the recordings are live. So Stephanie asked, when you play a live show, what are some of the things that make a show memorable for you as a performer, and then as a fan when you're hanging out? What's some things that stand out to you?
So for an artist standpoint, man, you got like different things that'll happen sometimes that's never happened before. And it can be even in a place like I've played the Borough 4 times in Lexington, but the one time that we played before Kindred Valley, we was opening for them, was the amount of people singing our songs back to us. That just put chills down my spine, man, because I don't know, for me personally, or for anybody else, but personally for me, I don't expect nobody to know my lyrics. So when they're singing stuff back to me that's almost as loud as me, you get choked up. So that was a memorable one. You was talking about North Springs earlier. Power went out there, and everybody just seemed like they was freaking out, worried about like what they were going to do, because they said it'd take like an hour to get the power back on. And I told Dustin, I can't remember Dustin's last name. You know,
is it Perkins, right?
I think so. Yeah, Dustin, man, he said we can wait, or we can do an unplugged. I said the hell with it. Let's go up there and do unplugged. And we did our entire set without any kind of sound. And we just asked everybody to get closer. You know, they had seats everywhere, but everybody got up and came to the stage, man. It felt like a real concert, dude. And that was a memorable moment. For a fan, for me, it's always the first time seeing somebody that I really admired for a long time. I've been to a lot of shows, but the biggest one for me was at Rupp Arena. I got to see Breaking Benjamin for the first time. I've always been a rocker growing up. And, man, to see those boys do what they've been doing for, God, over 20 years, probably 30 now, close to it. I felt like I was 13 again. Like I was on that rail. I was literally quoting every single lyric that they were saying, man. I was just like, you're into it. Just that first time with somebody that you really admire. I felt that at Tyler Childers when I got to see him at Louisa at Free Show. Waited 13 hours so I could be in the front to watch the show for free. It's just stuff like that. It's always my favorites.
Mm-hmm. I'm debating on as Dustin Kennedy.
Dustin Kennedy, that's it.
Dustin Perkins is another artist that's been on the show.
Sorry, Dustin, don't kill us.
Yeah. Sorry, Dustin Perkins getting a free shout out. He's an Oklahoma artist. If y'all haven't ever heard him before, he's got a Chris Knight cover, by the way. So it's
okay.
He's got one of those voices that when he starts to sing, it makes mine hurt. You know what I mean? Like so growly that I'm like, damn, that just makes me, it makes mine hurt. But
I think of Jake Cohn every time.
Yeah.
God, he's got a killer voice. So I'm just like, God dang, boy.
You got that natural smoker's voice, like
son.
Yeah.
When he's singing, and you know when he's talking to you, it's kind of like a different voice, but you can tell that singing voice is in there. But
like he's got that low, like he's just a quieter guy. And then it comes out in his singing, bro. It's awesome.
It's wild.
Who's
kind of like your favorite? Who's kind of your favorite artist right now? Like as far as the the Americana country kind of scene that's developed in the past 5 years. Who kind of takes that number one spot?
Man, I don't want to be like everybody else, but honest to God, it's Sturgill, and I listen to a lot of Benjamin Todd right now. Benjamin Todd's a big one. A lot of Cole Chaney. And my Bubby Logan Halstead. Love him. But Sturge has been in my rotation very, very heavy in the past few years. I love his Cutting Grass album so much that I keep telling people I'm going to get the album on me somewhere. Like I'm obsessed with it.
Me like a tattoo?
Oh yeah, man. I'm thinking about it like hard, maybe back here behind somewhere here, and him just on that lawnmower, dude.
Oh, yeah, I don't know about you guys, but when he kind of went off, to right or left of center on a couple albums, right? And a lot of the fans wanted him to just stick to what he wanted to do. And as an artist, I understand why he wants to scratch different itches, but as a fan, I also understand why you like what you like. But
right.
I feel like he was being a smart ass when he released those 2 Cutting Grass albums. Like, oh, you want country? I'm gonna slow down the fast songs, and I'm gonna speed up the slow songs,
yeah.
and I'm gonna release the same songs just as a bluegrass format, and and it sold no telling. I mean, you know what I mean? There's no telling how much that did. Just re-releasing the same thing.
Yeah.
There's no they probably didn't even spend that much time, relative to recording those things. Just got musicians that he loved, played the songs, and probably made a bunch of money off of it.
And absolutely killed it, man.
Killed
it.
Wasn't he raising money for something? And he's like, if we get to a certain amount, then I'll release new music. And it kind of like, because I remember buying some merch. It was like the Dick Daddy merch that he was selling. I bought a t-shirt. I got like a muscle shirt, and but all that money went to this cause, and I forget what the cause was, but like it hit pretty quick because everybody wanted new music, and that's when he put those albums out.
Yeah. Hey, can you can you all hear that background noise or no?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's up to you, man.
I'm always part of I've always been around a big family, man. Give me just a second. I'll see if I can get them.
You gotta love it. It's the real deal.
That's good background noise, though. Like
yeah.
Families are.
It could be at the bar. It could be way worse. So
yeah. Family activities, man.
Well, that's the good part about the editing program of this thing. Or we can just keep it. It doesn't make a difference one way or the other, right? It makes everybody seem real.
It just adds to the realisticness of it.
Exactly.
So you're it's streaming live right now. Is that on Facebook?
Yep, on Facebook and on YouTube.
Cool.
Because we've had a couple folks comment from Facebook and YouTube. So
representing my buddy Tony, man, Tony Lowe. He's another guy. I don't know if you've had him on the show, but
he's the one that led me to North Springs.
Okay.
To be honest, him and Clint Park and that whole gang when he was with them. And I'm gonna go see Tony. I think in March he's coming to Memphis. So
he absolutely, like, his band is so tight.
Mm-hmm.
Their whole band, man, and puts on a great show.
Yeah, he's he was super cool. He came on the pod at one point in time, and like I said, I put on Facebook, hey, I'm going to Mempho Fest. Looking forward to it. I actually got to talk to Brent Cobb there, and Drew Holcomb, and either way, everybody was like, yeah, that sounds nice, but you need to go to North Springs. you need to come to this festival. And I'm like, I don't know where North Springs is. That's not near Memphis, is it? No. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know where that is. So then I made my trek over there and met all kind. Like, it opened up a whole lot of doors that day, meeting Addison Johnson and low water guys and all different kinds of folks. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how small the community is, really, and how everybody is so interconnected.
Yeah, I didn't really realize that until you walked in the backstage area and Bill's talking to Tony Logue and just whoever, Tim Gooden, and then Taylor Honeycutt rolls in, and them Dirty Roses, and they're talking, and then Ward Davis shows up and he's talking to everybody, and and Wes Ship is there talking to everybody. It's it's just, yeah, you could. I was there, and like I said, I don't know, I think I said this off air, but I was there to try to get interviews. But then after I saw everybody being buddies and hanging out and talking, I was like, I don't want to ask anybody to do interviews now, because you can tell they got downtime in between. Like this don't happen that often.
Yeah.
So.
One of the coolest things happened to me at North Springs was I was in the back. And I've always been a fan of Taylor. And she comes back and she's talking to somebody. And she comes up to me and throws her arm around me and gives me a hug. She's like, hey, you're Bill Taylor, ain't you? I was like, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I said, yes, ma'am. She said, I'm Taylor, honey. I was like, hello. So I still get giddy, man. That'll never change, I don't think.
I was going to ask, that was one of the questions I had written down, because, you we'll talk about the TikTok stuff too. But like, have you had anybody like that you know? I guess you now Taylor, but have you had other folks to where you listen to them and then all of a sudden that you realize they know who the hell you are? You know those moments.
Wes was one of the first ones for me. Wes Ship and yeah, Taylor was one of the more recent ones. Low Water. Uh, I knew them. You know, it's cool when you listen to someone's music and then they come up to you and say, "Hey, Bill, how you doing?" I was like, "Hey, brother." Literally last night, the Creekers. If you ain't heard the Creekers, dude, you like bluegrass? Check those boys out. I was watching them at the Bell Theater last night, and I wanted to go talk to them. And their one of their main singers, Alan, come up to me, and we just hit it off last night. Talked for I guess 30, 40 minutes. It's always cool little feeling, man.
Mm-hmm.
I bet it is. You wanna play us a song? We're about halfway.
Yeah, I can play one. I can play one.
Kind of give us a backstory on what you're playing
Sure.
and what song it is and what's it about.
I
All
sure
that jazz.
A little cold where I'm at. It might need a little time. What's bad? I just turned it before I got on here with you all.
Yeah, it's
Just
definitely
back for just a second.
little chilly here too.
I turned my furnace off so I could hear you guys. So it's probably about 60 degrees in my house right now.
Bill even muted when he was tuning. Look at him being all kind and stuff. So yeah, we always have folks on the watching on Facebook and YouTube and stuff. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. We'll relay the message. Don't be scared to ask something. We don't think of everything, especially within an hour setting. So it's nice to hear other opinions.
Cool. We good. All right. So this song here, I guess I wrote it in the summertime. I was just sitting down and, I'll tell you exactly what I tell the crowd. This song here is about a guy, or I call him a fool, that at one point in his life decided that he would rather run around drinking and chasing females and, doing the things that he shouldn't as a married man and as a father, but he thought that was more important. And he went a few months doing that shit to where he lost his family. And at the time, he didn't think that it was that big of a deal, but it didn't take long for him to realize that was the best thing ever happened to him. I mean, you would think that that's something that he would know, but he was in a dark spot. Well, he decided to straighten up and beg her back, and fortunately, the woman come back to him. He's got his family, and they're doing good now. And that fool is me. And the song's called Holding On and Letting Go. This time, kids and me are leaving until you say stop believing your own damn lies. Then this time look into my eyes. I swear this is my last goodbye. I've spent too many cold nights in this room, wondering why I can't seem to get through to a heart I've cared for so long. Is it still mine as it found another home? Either way, you need to let me know. 'cause I'm halfway between holding on and letting go. Well, I used to be so afraid of the light on your phone. It lit up late at night. You covered in your hand and acting nothing was wrong. I fought the tears back, I smiled out the sky. I've spent too many cold nights in this room, wondering why I can't seem to get through. To lay it all I've kept for so long. Is it still mine, or has it found another home? Either way, you need to let me know. 'Cause I'm halfway between holding on and letting go.
Yeah, man.
It's a great song. Great
Yeah.
song.
Thank you, boys.
It's definitely, you know, it's on the, as far as I know, you're sitting there with the guitar and singing it, so it's on the, you know, you don't have the other instruments with you, but it's definitely a country song. You know, you said you balanced those lines, you know, you were on those lines, but, yeah,
That's a straight country one.
Yeah.
Well, those kind of songs too, man, they're so relatable and real. Yeah. A lot of people have to go through situations like that, including myself, man. Like, I poured myself into a few songs like that, and it's hard to get through some songs like that when you're singing them live because it chokes you up. I mean,
absolutely.
But thanks for putting that out, man, because I know that'll be on my playlist for sure. Like songs that I cried to in the van when I'm driving down the road.
That's where I want to be too. That's the playlist I want to be. Yeah, man. It's I always, not talking about myself, but like other artists, I always appreciate when they open up, show that they're not perfect. You know, that's something that I went through, and thankfully she forgave me, and we're doing good now. But I was a damn fool at one point, man, and it was just something that I felt like I should talk about, because I got a lot of friends that either have went through that or they're going through it right now, whether it be the girl or the guy. It's either side. You know, people mess up, but they're not, you know, no one's perfect, and hopefully they give them another chance if they show that they've improved. That's, you know, I like to talk about that emotional stuff, but
it's the real deal, man. It's, you know, when I was going through some stuff, I listened to, I don't know if it was out of, you know, I don't know what it was, but I was listening to a lot of George Jones, and anything that it felt real to me, that was a real sadness that somebody experienced. And I think in those situations, you just want to feel like you're not the only one.
Like you're not alone. Yep.
To hear a good song like that, it really, it adds some kind of meaning to it all. I mean, because like, hell, man, I mean, being able to recover your family like that, that's everything, man. Yeah, and
it is.
Hopefully they got your back when they put it out, and they'll be proud of you when you get those songs rolling.
I always go through the boss and get her clearance before I say, hey, can I sing this? Or are you comfortable with it? Because she's my right hand woman, and she's with me everywhere I go and stuff. So, I always give her I give her 90% of the songs as praise to her.
Yeah.
She's my easiest subject to talk about.
Right. How is that's a very real thing to talk about too, is like the dynamic of having a relationship as a musician and always on the road. Is that something you guys talk about as far as the future goes, and potentially what could happen with an album that's maybe a breakout album? What kind of things?
She worries. I mean, I guess like anybody would, but she's always been my biggest supporter in it too. She's always pushing me to do more. And like, if I test on her a lot of times, if it gets her to cry, I think it might be a pretty good song, or, she'll tell me straight up, hey, that was shit. But yeah, man, she worries about it. And, I don't know, man. It's one of those roads we'll cross when we get there. It's just, I try to show her reassurance always. I let it be known anywhere I go that, hey, that's my beautiful wife back there. Go get you some merch. Very proud of her that she even wants to be with me, because I'm a fool, and she's too good looking for this old boy.
Well, when you guys came to BBH, I saw what a good team you made, and it seemed like everybody that was with you that night was just part of it. And you guys came in, it was very like a well-oiled machine, man. And I know it's just going to keep getting better.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind, man. We've been together 14 and a half years, and I don't see no reason in stopping now. She's done invested a lot in me, and I think she'd probably kill me if I'm being honest. I don't know if I'm saying honest. I might be worried if I tried to go anywhere. She's wonderful, but she's wild too.
All of a sudden, it would turn into a Chris Knight song.
Is she from down there in Bell County too?
Yeah. She grew up in a Holocaust, Stinking Creek, Kentucky, over towards Barberville in Knox County. She's right across Bell County there. That's where she was raised her whole life. I remember the first time she took me back there to meet her parents. Boy, I'm a country feller, but I said, God almighty, they had a bootleg Sunshine back here where they live. I thought she's taking me to kill me. That's a true story. They country back in the woods.
Yeah.
So just for something we try to highlight, because the music world can seem so glamorous from folks listening on Spotify, but as far as tell folks kind of who your team is. I know you mentioned your wife several times and stuff like that, but just if they buy merch from you and things like that, where it's coming from and who your team is.
Well, honestly, right now, as far as merch and stuff like that goes, I've pretty much did it all. I've been with a company called Brand Yourself out of West Virginia. They've done almost all of my stuff, and I know he's going to kill me because I cannot think of his name right now. But
well, we've established we're not good with.
Yeah, I suck, dude. I suck with names so bad.
Yeah. When you're bad with names, it's great to start a podcast.
But yeah. I have some fools here at the house. If y'all hear anything, I apologize.
That's okay.
But yeah, I did that. He's got me all confused now. That's my little brother. He's in the. What was we talking about? Brand Yourself.
Your team.
So yeah, my biggest thing for me right now, man, is my manager Jason Parton, good old boy from Frakes, Kentucky, and John Grace. He's doing. He works at Bell County Tourism. He does. They host Laurel Cove, and they've been the biggest help for me as far as anybody trying to get my name out there and stuff. The boys have really pushed me. It's because of them that I've got this shot at doing this record with Rob. And I don't know if I'd ever met him any other way, but. They're the ones always making the calls, trying to get me into other places and stuff. I've been with Jason, I guess, a year and a half now. Now he's been one of my best friends more than he has a manager.
Yeah, which is
and that's with the farm manager.
Yeah, yes, sir. The farm music management, yes, sir.
That roster is incredible, man. It really got a lot of great people on that, and it's like just knowing the quality of music that is represented in that roster, man, I could just see those, like a lot of those names just from here on out kind of being, eventually being kind of legendary from this area.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I think I know most people know Nick Jamerson from Sunday Best, but dude, his sister Emily's a fucking killer. Dear God, dude, she's disgusting. And when I say that, I mean it in the best way possible. Dude. That girl's got a voice on her, buddy, and she can write. She can write just like a brother. Unreal. Yeah. Then you got Tim, you've got Jordan King. I mean, you've got some really heavy hitters. Dalton's good, man. There's all kinds of good people. Braden, I know I'm forgetting somebody again.
I think Rich Henderson.
Rich Henderson. Yeah, he's the newest with us, man. Rich has been around probably longer than all of us, man.
Yeah. Met him at Kicking It on the Creek years ago. I think it was 2017 or 2018. But a really solid dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems to like really give a shit as far as just when he likes you, he likes you. You know what I mean? Like he just has a way of talking. And just the way he carries himself, it's unique the way he handles everything. I mean, his music is kind of unique too, but I don't know, just his attitude and everything. He's very passionate. He's a very passionate guy, especially on the good side too. You know what I mean?
I've not gotten to meet him yet, but I look forward to it. I guarantee we will eventually.
He's a very hardworking guy too. Like he is. I mean, back when he and I did a show at Duke's in Indy one time, and there was very little downtime where he wasn't on the computer making it, sending emails, making contacts, and all that kind of thing. And he's always been like that since I've known him. But that's what it takes these days, man.
Yeah, it's all about this social game anymore, man. It really is. Like you get your name out once you go and play, dude, but you've got to be showing a presence on here.
Yeah.
Unless you're just lucky and you get you a good viral video or something.
Yeah, that's a good segue. All right, so we mentioned this before we started. The TikTok thing, we have no idea what's going to happen with it. It could stay, it could get sold, it could go away. I kind of doubt it's going to go away because it's too big. It's a lot of money involved somewhere. Somebody's going to buy it and keep it open or do something. But either way, we had Tim Gooden on early on this pod. Honestly, Tim is one of the ones that helped legitimize this thing, so appreciate Tim. But also, he had kind of a video pop off on social media and everything, and help him. And it you've seen some of the same success like from people all over. It's like success, but you know what I mean. Getting eyes and ears to your music that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise, which is the great thing about social media compared to all the bad shit that we see. How did that start? What video was kind of the one that did that for you? You remember?
I've had a few that's got a right in the 100,000 or more range, but. Man, I think it was Never Leave Harlan Alive. I think that was my first big one. That one, or I did Oh Death a few years back on there. Man, that was another one of the things. Like I love TikTok. I've been on it forever, and I just decided I'm gonna just start throwing some videos up, see what happens. And I think I found my niche when I started just doing acapellas, either in my building or outside in the woods. That seemed to go good with people. And TikTok has helped me more than any other platform on here. And that's why, for me personally, it sucks if it does go away. I'm like you, I hope it don't. I don't think it will, but you never know if they fight it hard enough. But anyway, like I've had a lot of, invitations to do gigs from TikTok. I've met a lot of good people through it. I met like North Springs we was talking about, and other festivals. I've had people come up that's where they knew me from and stuff. And so I'm thankful for it. It's definitely the one that's got the most views. That's for damn sure.
Is that one the one that was recorded at Laurel Cove with Musical Moonshine, I believe, did it?
Yep.
That one had a huge amount of views. The last time I checked it out, was that on TikTok as well?
Yeah. They threw that one on. Well, they got it on YouTube and stuff, but TikTok's where where it went good.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, what they're whatever they do to get it to more people the way it is, but I'm glad they do it. It's a cool app.
So to tie this back around, the episode that's going to be posting pretty soon of this pod, somebody that I'm pretty sure you met on TikTok, Jack Browning.
Jack, yeah.
From the UK. He did some. He's done work with both of you guys, right? Or you?
Yeah.
I know he's done work with Lance. So this thing's mirrored. I keep pointing in the wrong direction. But didn't he? So
yeah. We're
to tie this back around. You were at North Springs Music Festival because we're apparently North Springs is a sponsor of the pod because I keep talking about it. But
hey, I mean it's
great.
a damn
it's
good
great.
festival, bro.
No doubt about it. I can't wait to be there in October and hear the lineup. But you were wearing a Jack Browning shirt, and I'd made buddies through TikTok with Jack and his paintings and everything. And I didn't really know that he was. I never knew that he made it to the States. I just thought he was cool and his artwork was amazing and all of that. I just kind of made friends with him, and then you, at North Springs, you're wearing a Jack Browning shirt, and I'm like, hold up. and then I went to fast forward all the months later. I went to an American Aquarium show the other day. And he's doing BJ Barham's doing a VIP session before the show, and there's folks standing up in front of me wearing a Bill Taylor shirt, and I'm like, "Damn, this this is a small community, or I guess close community, which is super cool to see. You know what I mean?" And Lance has got Lance over there has got the Tony Logue shirt on. I got
my first Tony
Taylor
Logue
Honeycutt shirt.
Oh, I don't know if you got to censor it, but I got Cole Chaney right now.
See, I mean, that's,
yes, sir.
I got my Justin Clyde Williams hat on.
Yeah. No, man, dude, Jack's probably one of the coolest people I've ever met. That is no joke. He, I don't know if it was him or I think it was me.
He said he
commenting
was
on
to sweet tea because of y'all.
Yeah, I think I started commenting on his art before I knew that he could sing.
Right. Yeah.
And then I found that he could sing, and dude, I just went crazy with downloading his stuff because he's got such a unique voice and he's a good storyteller. And even better than all that is he's one of the best people I've ever met. He's one of the kindest souls, dude. He, I think I met him in May. He come over and we did a little Sandy shakedown together, and met him. And dude, I cannot wait for him to come back. Like he really is awesome. We got to do that one, and then he come to Bell County where I live, and we did a show at a local pizza joint down here. Man, that's pretty chill.
I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but Jack is in the UK, so that's
yeah.
He's
Jack's from across the pond.
Yeah, exactly. So, what about you, Lance? What were you gonna say?
Yeah, Jack and I met. I got some shows organized by my friend Kat Deeds out there in England, and since I knew I was going to be out there, I reached out to Jack and was like, "Hey, let's do some shows together." So we did a couple shows together out there, and then going back there in February with Hunter, Flynn, and Daniel Kane, myself.
Oh.
And we're going to be going for 2 weeks, and then Jack's going to try to join up with us and play some shows. So that's another thing that I'm working on with Kat. She started up a thing that's going to help a lot of Appalachian artists get out there. And we're going to try to, it's all going to be sponsorship based so that people don't have to go huge out of pocket to go over there. And she's arranging places for us to stay for free, transportation and everything like that. So it's going to be really cool once we get it ramped up.
And get your boy over, man. Just saying.
That's right, man. Anything I can do to ever help, man, you let me know.
I might take a Xanax on the plane or something. Oh, man. No, that's going to be killer, brother. That's going to be killer. You and Daniel, huh? Shit.
Yeah, we're going to really start announcing it after New Year's and kind of start promoting some of these shows because we're still developing some of them. We've got the bulk of them booked, but still got a couple that may turn into house show kind of situations.
I'm going to throw myself in some luggage when I go. What do you think, so?
You should come, man.
That'd be awesome.
So one of the cool things about as far as Spotify and everything for these artists, just in case somebody doesn't know this, when folks, well, anywhere are streaming their music, they can kind of look at a map, so to speak, and see the pockets of where their music is being played. And like when Lance is talking about going to the UK, I'm sure that is a huge uh, help organizing something like that and knowing where the best places to go and things like that are. I mean, and not just in the UK, as I'm sure it's helpful in general everywhere, but um, I guess have you run into that as far as either one of you guys as far as booking and knowing kind of knowing what's up as with spot being able to see those analytics.
I knew like going into England, it was a place that I wanted to travel to just because the simplicity of the language barrier, no language barrier, and then um, looking at those numbers on Spotify, which my numbers aren't that big, but still I try to be selective of where I go. So England had always had pockets of people that were listening to my music. Another place that I want to go to is Texas. They listen to my stuff down there. So it does help. It does help to know that the analytics part of it. But, what we're doing now is, we are kind of like seeing venues that want to have Appalachian artists that plays there. It could be twice a year. It could be way more than that too. It could be once a month, if things get really good. But we're trying to find those locations that we can get a kind of them used to us being there. And then the reciprocal too, like the reverse, like their artists coming out here, like Jack, for example.
Yeah, and then they get used to. It just builds it's a building blocks for folks. Like if Bill were ever to go over there, there's already something kind of set, and where not everybody's starting from scratch every time.
That's right. Places to stay, travel, gigs already booked, those kind of things. And I'm not doing it to make any money off of it. I know Kat has a business doing it, but she's also, she is she's trying to help this whole thing to make it possible. So I'm doing everything I can to help too. And I know like I've had some really cool things happen. I'm sure Bill has had really cool things happen where you just can't believe it's happening. People, open their wallets to help when you just don't know how you're going to make it. You don't know how this is going to happen, but all of a sudden it does. And it's really for the love of Appalachia, love for the art, the music, and just keeping it thriving.
Yeah. Yeah. You got people like Rob. He's a great example, man, from Jam. Now, I can't give the dude enough praise. He's not only helped me, man, but he's helped a lot of other artists with their EPs, and he's trying to do some single work, try to put us I hope he don't kill me, but he's trying to get some stuff together to where he's got multiple artists doing singles, maybe a cover of something or of something completely other genre, or it's all out of his pocket. Like he's not asking us for anything, and I truly feel it's just because it's the love of the music, man. A few months back, my mom got in some really really bad shape, and we didn't know if she was going to make it or not, and the amount of love from the music community that just got together and helped my dad. Like I never asked for a dime, and they just got together and just did it and helped my family out, man. I mean, you don't see that. Like I said, I'm not talking too much shit, but like I said, I've always went to church growing up, and I never saw that kind of compassion that I've saw from the music family that I've made. And yeah, another shout out to Jack, dude. It seems like any time an artist wants to come over, he'll try his best to, get with them and do some runs and show them around. That dude's just a genuine guy. This whole community is just genuine people.
It's crazy that community though is, thousands of miles away too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
For all of the shitty parts of social media, that ain't one of them. That's one of the extremely cool parts of all that, because just like you two are an example, plus Jack, and like I would have never known. There's a lot of music out there, and to find folks' music and to meet up with people and things like that. Sometimes social media is a huge help when it comes to all that stuff. So Shout out to that for sure. Well, I want to make sure. I want to ask you about this because I know you played it at North Springs Music Festival, which is a great music festival run by Dustin Kennedy, not Perkins. How did Roll Me Away come about? Because folks don't know, you were a part of a bluegrass album where it was all Seeger songs, and that was was that in Muscle Shoals?
That was in Muscle Shoals, yes, sir.
Yeah,
with a guy named Jimmy Nutt. The way that come to be is again with the band, we were just playing, we were throwing some stuff just like this. We got on a podcast in up towards Morristown, Tennessee, or down towards Morristown, Tennessee. And it was a bluegrass station. We just got on there, we introduced ourselves. We sung 5 or 6 songs. And a young man named Mr. Sean Brock, one of the best mandolin players I've ever heard in my life, heard it. And him and his family were moving back from Texas to Bell County. He was originally from Harlan, so they were moving back. And he calls up Derek, a guy that used to play with me, and asked him, he liked what he'd heard on there and asked could he, join in with us. And we become good friends with him. And I, just fast forward a few months, he said, hey man, I got this buddy that has got a project going on and he needs a singer. And I said, okay. And then, he told me what it was. He said, bluegrass for Bob Seger. And I said, oh man, that sounds awesome. Dude, I didn't know what I was getting into, but shout out to Randall Deaton, by the way. He's the one that produced it. Now one of my best buddies. But get down there to Muscle Shoals before I even get to the studio or anything. They take me through the Muscle Shoals little record studio where, Leonard Skinner's piano's down there where they recorded. You got Rolling Stones, freaking even Cher. Just so many people come through there. And I'm sitting here touching the walls and shit, just praying some of that talent comes off to me. And then he goes and introduces me to Jimmy. Man, this dude's got damn Grammy from working with the Steel Drivers, and I was blown away. Anyway, that's how it come to be. That's still probably my favorite song that I've got to record, just because of I think just how good it sounds, and it was just a cool rendition of the song. But yeah, look up Silver Bullet Bluegrass if you got time. You want to hear some good stuff. There's some good singers on there.
Yeah, when you think of Muscle Shoals, a lot of folks know that history, but a lot of folks don't. And if you don't, make that deep dive. Go find the documentary, and you'll be extremely surprised at how many folks recorded in that little small town on the Tennessee River. So, and Bob Seger is one of them.
Oh yeah, Bob.
Yep. Yeah, I did the same. I did that tour too. The little bathroom where Keith wrote Wild Horses, and
right there in the dang bathroom, man. That's crazy, man.
And then we walked out, and just like hanging out in the chair was David Hood, and I'm like, man, son of a, like half the people that are walking out don't know who he is, They just explained, his amp is sitting there, they just explained this whole thing about the Swampers and everything, and you walk out and there he's just hanging out. I'm like,
You should have seen me, dude. I was the biggest tourist. God, I bought so much stuff. I got some Muscle Shoals, got some Swampers shirt. I got some keychains.
I bought one too.
Boy.
They got
me
too. They got me too. I went that weekend to see Turnpike, Blackberry Smoke, and Jason Bolin in Huntsville. So on the way back home, I was like, we got to stop. My daughter's like, where are we stopping? And I'm like, we're stopping. It doesn't, just pretend like you care. And amuse Dad for a couple hours,
all them records on the wall too that they did, man. It's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of talent that went through that little building is unreal.
No doubt about it. All right, well, I just want to make sure we talked about that. Somebody in the chat want to know, ask about Cleve.
Oh, Cleve's our best buddy up here, buddy.
Uh-huh.
I don't know the whole backstory, but pretty much one of my good buddies, Blake, that works with the farm as well. He found him in an old pawn shop, And basically, he was looking. He went looking for it, but he saw that he's just it's just a little raccoon that's sitting up on a stump, and he looks like he's doing this stuff right here. And he's all tattered. It's just this horrible taxidermy job. And he asked the woman, he's like, "Hey, what will you get? What do you need for this?" And she said, "Well, you got." He said, "I give you $20." And she said, "Sold, it's yours." And him and Parton were together when they did it, and I guess he's been a part of all the music that goes around here on the Bell Theater, Laurel Cove, and the Borough and stuff. They'll throw him on the stage and stuff. He's just like our little mascot, man. They'll dress him up. He was out there yesterday at Jingle at the Bell, dressed up like Santa Claus. No, he's got his own social medias and everything.
I was wondering about that guy. I was wondering about the story of that thing.
Cleve's the craziest cat you'll see, boys. I'll tell you that. Now, he got his own poster for Laurel Cove this past year.
Awesome.
Well, I'm hoping to make it up there. Hopefully this year also. So looking forward to that too. I've never been. So.
Buddy, listen, I'm not trying to be biased, but I am. It's one of the best things Lance will tell you. It's one of the most beautiful places, and just the camaraderie, like North Springs, man. It's just unreal. It's awesome. You need to be sure to come.
Yeah.
Don't miss that one. Make sure you get like John. I think John was being interviewed recently, John Grace, and they asked him what his favorite thing about the festival was, and he said the people.
Yeah,
it is the people, man. It's like everybody is salt of the earth. They're kind. They're just in a great mood, having a good time, and do anything for you. It is a recharge. It is a recharge just going there and enjoying and hearing the music, just hanging out and meeting new friends. And I know it's something I got to do every year, man. I played it one time, but it's my goal to make sure that I'm there every time, because it's like nothing else, man. It reminds me of the old Kicking on the Creek a little bit, that same kind of feel, same kind of vibe.
Everybody just comes together, man, and everybody's giving each other hugs and stuff. It's just like a family reunion for a lot of people. You got people that come from Alaska and everywhere to come to that thing, man. It's a special place, and it's one of those ones when you wake up the day after the festival's done, you're just like, man, I gotta go back to the real world now. It sucks.
Yeah, that'll be another one of those situations for me, like North Springs, as far as I walk in. Like literally, when I walked in North Springs, I knew one person, and that was and they were from Florida. And that Amanda was from Florida. They're from the Florida tribe. It makes those trips all the time. But I've known from social media, from music groups and stuff like that. Never met in person, but still walked. Drove 4 hours, walked into a festival not knowing a damn person until.
Is it Amanda Cannon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was, but it didn't take very long to be accepted into the community.
Oh man, if you're there and you love music, you're one of us. You get in real quick.
No, it didn't take long at all. So definitely going to try to catch that one. But we're going to hit a couple rapid fire questions and then get you out of here. But before we do that, make sure you follow Bill Taylor and all of his socials. I'll have all the links down in the bottom and to his where you can stream his music also. Engage in the comments. As far as if you see him post something on Instagram, don't just scroll on by it. Hit the like button, comment, because unfortunately there's an algorithm that we all have to deal with. And it helps everybody involved and doesn't cost you anything. Wherever you listen to your music at, hit the follow button. When they ask you to pre-save something, it doesn't cost anything to do that either. Just whatever they ask on their social medias, they're asking for a reason. It helps everybody involved. And make sure you this way, because it's mirrored again. Make sure you follow Lance Rodgers on all of his socials and his podcast. Also, Falling Forward, FORD''D, right?
It's FOR''D, Falling Forward.
Oh, okay. There's not two D's. It's not.
Just the one. Yeah, it's like the word Ford, but
yeah, I got
an apostrophe in there to try to maybe not flag any copyright stuff.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, and if you look up Bill Taylor on any, like, if you're looking for music, if it says and the Appalachian Heathens, that's me. And then I've got Bill Taylor music that going forward on my album and pretty much anything else that comes out.
Cool.
All right, man. So let's see. I gave somebody that if you could pick anyone to co-write with, dream co-write.
Chris Stapleton.
Okay. All right. I guess you can't go wrong there, right?
No.
Would you open up to sing at all if you're around Chris Stapleton?
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
You guys would make a good team, man.
Man, the dude's a killer, man. He don't get enough credit, I don't think, for his writing. He was writing a whole lot longer before he started getting big on his singing.
Yeah. That's always an inspirational story, man, to hear that as a songwriter.
Oh, he's a big one, because look at the guy's voice. Like, man, I put him top tier of all time for me as singers, and he can write too, man. And he went at it so long before it finally broke through. It just goes to show you how the world works.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody in the business, it's kind of like that. Well, there's a bunch of people that y'all know, I'm sure, that are in the business, is how badass they are. Just for whatever reason has not popped off like that. The one that always comes to mind when I think about that is we bring him up. We jokingly say we're going to change the name of the podcast to 7 Degrees of Adam Hood, because he comes up on the podcast all the time because of just being around, and everyone has good things to say, and the writing and the singing and the business and being around so long. That's the one that comes to mind for me, as far as, like, if he popped off tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised at all. You know what I mean? All right. You got any of those, Lance?
Yeah. How about here's another question for you.
Okay.
You're on a desert island.
Uh-oh.
You got one album that you can listen to for eternity. Which one are you going to put on?
Oh, God, man. Oh, that's rough, dude. That is rough. Are we talking about our genre or just any genre?
Any album.
You.
Oh, man, it's probably Phobia by Breaking Benjamin, honestly, if I'm being dead honest.
Cool.
Because it's got the storytelling, it's got the sadness, and it's got the heavy music. I'm a rocker before I am anything.
Understand.
All right. How about Gibson or Martin?
Just because I've been around them more and got to play a lot more on, probably Martin. This cotton that I'm playing right now is one that Derek bought. And it's got a lot of, the same aspects. I ain't even going to act like I know all the detail, but he can go into the mahogany and all the wood and stuff. It's got that ring to it, man. A Martin's just got a sound when you hit that guitar. It just bellers out, and I like that.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think there's a wrong answer, right?
No, either one of those, man.
Just a different answer. In other words, which one you want to spend $5,000 on, right? So,
Absolutely.
or more.
That's true.
Man, you mentioned that earlier, as far as this is not, I guess, a rapid fire thing, but the Texas scene. Man, I would love to see you guys be able to make those trips and stuff, because that seems to be like a scene when you're accepted, just like your area, when you're accepted, when they know you're working and they're writing songs and you're out there gigging, then you're going to be accepted and you're not an asshole.
Amen to that one.
Yeah, then you're accepted into the circle pretty easy, as long as you're paying your dues.
Yeah.
And that seems to be real similar out there. And there's a lot of folks that make those trips that aren't traditional Texas country at all. So I would.
Yeah,
I would
it's
love.
It's kind of on my bucket list to get out there for sure.
Yeah, mine too, for sure. I listen to a lot of Texas red dirt radio, a lot.
So
Robert Earl Keen was one of my, it's always been one of my favorite artists, Robert Earl Keen. And then Chris Knight, Chris Knight was one of the Kentuckians that got accepted into Texas pretty early in his career, and he's like, you think he's from Texas, you know? They love him so much.
Yep. Yeah, it's true. Because nobody's two-stepping to Chris Knight songs, but it still works. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So this is I just made this rapid fire question up on the spot since you mentioned it. When I say Red Dirt Country, who's the first artist that comes to mind?
For me, Cody Jinks. Cody Jinks is a killer.
What about you, Lance?
It's Cross Canadian Ragweed.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a buddy of mine that burned a CD for me years ago. It was Cross Canadian Ragweed. That's the first time I heard of them, and I wore that thing out. And yeah, I love that. I just love that sound. Cody Canada. I met him at the Burl. He played a show up there and just like stopped, shook my hand, said, "Hey man, how you doing?" Just a really down to earth guy. And yeah, that's who I think of first.
So I meant to ask this question earlier, and so we're bouncing back and forth, but it's all right. Bill, when you're playing a show and you know that if you're in an opening spot for somebody and you know most of the folks there don't know your music, or maybe some do, but a lot of them don't. But you see they're starting to groove along with what you got going on. How's that feeling from your point of view when you see those light bulbs going off and they're starting to dig what you're picking up, what you're laying down?
It feels great. It absolutely feels great. One thing that I started doing to try and just, get people's attention, because a lot of times, like you see, if you're opening, I don't think people's trying to show disrespect, but a lot of times they're there for the headliner, so you want them to hear your music. First thing I do is I do an acapella of "Never Leave Harlan Alive," and I scream it.
Yeah,
I get deep in the mic and I scream it loud, and that usually shuts everybody up and they're listening to what's going on. And then I throw in just Hard Appalachia. It's just a song about the woods and my area of things I saw growing up. And from then on, I've got their attention, and then I start talking about what's coming up stuff, because I don't have a whole lot of fast songs, but that's how I grab them.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It works.
And then,
Works.
then walking off stage and meeting them at the merch table and getting pictures and stuff like that. How's that from your point of view? What's that?
That's it. I don't know if it'll ever not be weird for somebody to ask me to sign something. That's I'm honored to do it. I love talking to people, but dude, I'm just like, I ain't nobody. But if you want me to sign that for you, that's cool, I guess. It'll always be odd to me, I guess. I don't care if I blew up to the sky. I don't know. It's just, I'd rather just have a good conversation with somebody. You're getting to meet a whole lot of new people and stuff. It's very cool.
Yeah. And I'm sure in some ways that shaking hands and then realizing that that connection is just keeps you going.
Yeah, and a lot of those people that's doing that, they're usually fans forever. I've saw a lot of the same faces over these past 2.5 years. A lot of the same faces. Like that guy you were talking to, as soon as you sent me that picture, and I was like, oh, that's John. Him and his wife's come from Mississippi up to Kentucky.
That's right.
4 times to see us. Just killer people.
That's the ones that were in front of me at the American Aquarium show.
Yep.
I went up and it's like, hey man, Bill's coming on the podcast next week, and they're like, oh cool, we bought he said that we bought handwritten lyrics from Bill, and there was some stuff that went on with y'all. But when I sent you the message, you knew exactly who they were.
Oh yeah, man.
And all that.
The son of a gun, he wouldn't not pay me. I told him, I was like, if you want to give that to her for a gift, let me write it out. I sent it. I was like, he's like, what's your PayPal? I was like, don't worry about it. Let me do that something for you, because like y'all drive up and see us all the time. He still sent me money. Sorry, son of a gun. I'm probably gonna send it back to him. Well, I done sent it out now. Never mind.
That's all right. It's okay. You don't want to start something.
No, old John's killer, man. He is.
No, but it was really cool. So that was one of those moments. I'm glad that I saw, and I'm glad that, because I'm not the most I'm a pretty introverted person for the most part. So walking up and talking to a stranger is kind of not my thing. But I was like, man, how often is this shit gonna happen? So I walked up and asked him, and yeah,
Get you
went
out of
from
your
there.
comfort zone a little bit.
Next thing you know, we're Facebook friends, and he's like, man, you need to get out to Oklahoma to catch some shows. I'm like, shit, I know. I want to. You ain't telling me nothing. But anyway, all right. So the most important question of the evening, Bill. This started off as a joke on episode 1. Now I think like 65 are posted. So this joke has been going on for a while. But if I don't ask, I get in trouble. So, Bill Taylor, what is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
Oh, shit. Christmas trees. By far.
That's why.
You can take those Christmas trees and ground them up, put them in like vanilla ice cream and milk. Oh my God.
Damn.
Yeah. Fat boy stuff right there. It's holy diabetes.
Well, as a diabetic, I approve of these Little Debbie. So, and Little Debbie, if you're listening, I know y'all are in Chattanooga.
Sponsor it, man, right there.
Exactly, no doubt about it. That's right. All right, so again, make sure you follow Bill on all of his socials, wherever you stream your music. Hit that follow button so you'll know when new stuff comes out. Bill, it was good to meet you at the infamous North Springs Music Festival, and I appreciate you coming on the podcast. I look forward to seeing you at some more shows, hopefully Laurel Cove sometime, and North Springs and all those things. So.
Hey, buddy, it was a pleasure, man. I was glad to have Lance on here with me too, man. Good talking to you again, brother.
You too, man. We got to get together again.
Oh, we're going to get on that phone forward.
That's right.
We got to, man.
We're going to. I'm wanting that cigar bad, bud.
Well, come on. Yeah, get on the show. We'll hang out at the house. I'll show you a couple things around town.
That sounds good, buddy.
Day of it.
Again, Lance Rodgers with the Fallen Ford, FOR''D. The whole premise of it is they hang out in his old Ford truck and do a little interview there and smoke a cigar. So.
Yeah, we just.
Oh, it was a cigar. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everybody's got a fallen on their face story, and getting back up's the important part, and figuring out what caused the problem to begin with. Those little bits of wisdom is what I try to uncover in that show, and sometimes smoking a cigar or whatever kind of puts you in a mindset of like deep thought, meditation in a way. And so that's what the show's about. Plus I'm restoring the old Ford truck. I do some, haven't done it a whole lot because it's so cold out right now, but I've got a bunch of projects I'm going to be filming and putting on there. Maybe Bill will want to come and help me change the headliner out in my truck or, something like that, man. Those are the kind of things that I want to do in the show.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, guys. I appreciate Lance. Thanks for hopping on. I asked you about a week ago. You didn't have a whole lot of heads up, so I appreciate you hopping on, Bill.
Anytime, man.
We've been trying to make this happen for a little bit, so I appreciate you.
Appreciate
brother. You coming on.
Absolutely. Can't wait to rewatch it.